Hey y'all, today I'm going to show you how to set a bearded dragon tank up on a budget. At least how I set mine up, very cheaply. This is Jax, my bearded dragon, and he is actually the very first rescue that I took in. So he's just chilling. He's in what I would call semi-brumation. He sleeps most of the time, but he just happens to be awake right now. So this is his enclosure, and I'm not going to include the tank because he actually came with the tank. So this video is just basically about everything that is inside. And I hardly spent any money at all on setting this tank up. So, of course, he's got food and water bowls sitting there. Those did have to be purchased. And the reptile carpet I purchased just because I prefer it. I think it's much easier than keeping paper towels. But that's another way that you can save money. If you'd rather use paper towels, you can just take them out and throw them away and replace them as they get soiled. But I prefer the reptile carpet. I take it out and wash it and put it back. So you can see there is a background, if you can see it without the glare. And this background I actually printed myself. And all I did was go online and find some pictures that I liked, blew them up, and then printed them off in sections and taped them together. So that cost me the ink that it cost me to print them. And you can see there's plants hanging in the corners, and those really aren't necessary. I just put them there to kind of cover up the bare corners, so you could do without those if you wanted to. But the front two are actually pieces of a 4-foot vine that I purchased at the dollar store for $1, and then I just cut pieces off of it and hung them. The two in the back are reptile vines that were purchased, but I don't believe I bought them brand new. I believe I bought them either off of Craigslist or at a yard sale. And then you can see he's got this big log, and I actually got this out of my neighbor's yard. He was doing some tree trimming, and I went over and asked him if I could dig through his pile and see if there was anything that I could use. And what I did was, I know that Jax likes to lay at an angle like he is right now, which is why I chose this branch, because he can lay on the hot side or the cool side and still lay at an angle. And when I brought this home, I pulled all the bark off of it, and it made it really slick, and he couldn't climb it. So I took clothesline rope, which is just a cotton rope, and I hot glued it all around it so he'd have something to grab onto. And to make it stand up, I don't know if you can see or not, but I cut part of the ends off so they were flat. And on the back, you might not be able to see it, but it's like a 4x6 piece of 1/4-inch plywood that I cut and screwed it to the bottom of the back. That's how it stands up and looks like it's freestanding in the tank. This rock I found, and it actually took me a long time to find exactly what I was looking for, but if you can see, the one side of it is kind of stepped up so it's easy for him to climb and he can get up there and lay on it. The hammock in the back is just made out of fleece, a couple of pieces of fleece sewn together, and some grommets that I put in there to be able to hang it. And you can see I've got it hung by hooks. They're like those command hooks, because I tried hanging it with the suction cups and it kept falling, which he doesn't really use it anyway, so it's just basically in there for show. He's also got a plant there in the background that isn't really necessary, but it does give him a little bit of shade back in that back corner if he wants it, but he doesn't ever lay back there. And down here in the front, you can see he's got a couple of pillows that were handmade. There's just a plain old flat pillow that he'll lay on every now and then. But this one here in the front is actually kind of a U shape. It's got a little indentation in the center because he likes to lay with his belly sagging, which a lot of bearded dragons do. So this one was made in a U shape, and he'll lay up here and sleep at night with his head and front legs up on the top and let his belly sing in that little cutout there. And then these are just 2 pieces of fleece scraps that were bought at the fabric store, along with the pieces that were used for the hammock. And they're like pennies on a dollar when you buy the remnants. So they probably, all 3 pieces probably only cost me about $3. So all in all, if you count the food dishes, the reptile carpet, and the fabric, and the 2 plants, I probably got about, maybe at the most, $50 in this tank. And that's all it cost me. So it's actually really cheap to set up a tank like this. You just have to use a little elbow grease and some ingenuity. And he's got everything in there he needs. I did have a hide in there for him, but he never used it, so I just took it out to give him more space to walk around on the floor. So that's my bearded dragon tank. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.